HS embedded in LP just means HS is a subset of LP, as in this picture here. And then this continuous embedding, if we write properly what it means, it's in fact this inequality from the remark. Right? So this is what we want to prove, in fact, the inequality from the remark. If we prove this, then we're done. The theorem is proved.
Okay.
There was a last thing that I wanted to explain, which is related to this kind of technical condition about S. So you will see here that having this condition S less than D over 2 does appear somewhere. So if S is less than D over 2, this means 2S is less than D, which is equivalent to D minus 2S being strictly positive, right? And we see this D minus 2S appearing here in this range for P, right? So obviously we don't want to divide by 0, so we don't want D minus 2S to be 0. And in fact, when we talk about these Lebesgue spaces LP, we want P to be positive. So
positive, yeah. Just in a Lazard book, yeah?
Yes, in Al-Azhar's book, exactly. So this is why you have this kind of technical condition on S.
Okay.
So this is kind of to give you an outline of an idea, as let's say, of what this theorem actually means.
Okay, just let me try to do it. And now if I do this theorem in this way, I don't need to do the theorem in the lecture 5 because including during this, yeah.
Exactly. You don't need to worry about lecture 5, yeah.
Okay, just
and in fact, if you look at this lecture 5, there I only prove part 1, so the part with the L infinity norm. The second part with the HS embedded into LP, that is not something I prove there.
Okay.
So it does not need it. So for this part with L infinity, you can take a look. It's a short proof. It's few lines. You can also take a look at lecture 5 if you think whatever is written in Al-Azhar is maybe too short. But in lecture 5, there's no proof of this inequality from the remark.
Yeah, actually, I want to prove lecture 5, but I don't have more space because I have limited page 15. I'm afraid I think that is take more than 50 page. That's the reason, yeah.
You shouldn't worry about this. So I actually asked Simon Malcolm about this. If students get penalized if they go beyond 50 pages. And they say no. He said no. We shouldn't worry if we go above 50 pages. So yeah. Don't worry
but for example, maybe I when I wrote 52, 53. That is that's his problem. For example, if I 2 page, because I need to make the acknowledgement in the page and the abstract different page. And yesterday Simon email us. He said you have to add the declaration form.
Exactly, the declaration.
Yes, that's the declaration page and acknowledgement page and the abstract page and content page. That's the reason, maybe 4 or 5 page for like introduction. I don't know, because my work maybe 48, 49 page. When I add 4 or 5 extra, that's maybe problem. 55, 56 page. That is maybe it's problem.
No, don't worry about that. So he said even if you go beyond 50 pages, more than 50 pages, it's fine.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah, okay. I'm trying to prove this theorem. Maybe if I have time.
Yes. So see how see if you have time.
Okay.
If you see you don't have time, you can just say, okay, we we stated here, and then we didn't have time to prove it. But if you have time to prove it, don't worry about the number of pages.
Okay, that's other thing I ask you about the citation. You told me you have to you can write the citation during the introduction. I understand. Maybe I said introduction, the main book I work from this project, it was a Al-Azhar book, and all theorem and all definition coming from this books. And I'm using Graphox books and Studium books to prove the theorem. I can mention this because I think I have just three sources. main sources,
Yeah,
Al-Hazard and Graphox and System, yeah.
I think that's fine. I think that's fine.
Yeah, because in my abstract, I will say my abstract, I will short write introduction in my small introduction my website. I say all information in this work based on Al-Hazard box. And then I will explain in section 1, I'm doing Fourier series, and in this section I use Al-Hazard book and I use the Graphox box and System box to prove theorem. And section 2, I'm Fourier transform, I'm using Al-Hazard book and blah blah blah, like this.
Yeah, that's very good. In particular, you can say I use, I don't know, chapter 3 or I don't know, section 3.2 from Al-Hazard to prove this. So I think try to be as precise as you can about citations, because this, this shows that, you really read that material. It's not just kind of citing a whole book.
Yeah, because I think when I citing whole book, that's make my project is not like it's very good for
looks a bit weaker.
Yeah, that's the reason. Yeah, I want to make sure. I'm trying to do like the sample paper. We have some samples paper. I'm trying to follow the structure, and I'm trying to write by this way. And I will send to you in the draft on Friday, and maybe you can see. And if there are any comment or anything to add it, maybe we can discuss next week. If I didn't understand.
Let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. So two things I wanted to mention actually. So one thing that I wanted to mention is, I know that Simon put this date of Friday, 4th of August for the draft chapter. But on my side, it doesn't need to be. You don't need to submit it by Friday, at least to me, by email. If you feel like you want to submit it to Canvas, because I think he also asks you to submit it to Canvas, you can do it. But for me, I think even if you send it to me, I don't know, by Sunday night, it's fine, because over the weekend anyway, I probably won't be able to do much.
Okay.
So yeah, don't feel like, oh, it really needs to be Friday.
Maybe I will do it in the, because not limited time and draft. I think we can do it during the weekend because
probably yeah.
I want to check the parallelism about that. I need to put it, and I need to check. But by the way, I will send to you in your email for my all my work. When I have done everything, maybe on Saturday or Sunday, I will send everything for you by my email. Yeah.
That's great. And another thing that I wanted to mention about the introduction, I think what you have in mind is very good. So first, maybe say kind of some general words about, for example, Fourier transform, Fourier series.
Yeah, I start like this. For me,
engineering and
other
sciences.
I'm writing what does Fourier series in the general.
General
because I'm writing in the white paper outside what is Fourier series, and then the other section I go to Fourier series. What is Fourier series and what I've done in this project and blah blah blah. Then I go to Fourier transform. Then I say in Fourier transform I'm doing some Schwarz space and some normal distribution, and I use some property like Blanchard and Parsifal. I speak little bit about these properties, and then I go through the space subleaf building and subleaf space, and I say some few words about that.
Yes,
that's exactly. I understand, because I'm going to general to specific in my introduction.
Exactly. Yeah. So say some general words that, I don't know, could be understood by anyone doing science, and then you go a bit more into, be more precise and rigorous to say, okay, in this chapter or in this section, I'm doing this. I'm studying the properties of the Fourier transform, for example. And some of the properties are interaction between the Fourier transform and derivatives, Fourier transform and dilations, these kind of things. And also maybe, I don't know if it's always appropriate, but you can say a few words also about the method. For example, I'm using integration by parts, or I don't know, I'm using some complex analysis.
Yeah, I'm using Fabian theorem because I have wrote appendix for Fabian theorem and Holder inequality. I added this like appendix, like you said, told me, and I write after this theorem was proved by, and I'm find some sources prove this theorem.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah. You can, if you find some source, it's very good, and you can say there, see this source for the proof of this theorem.
I said this theorem was proved by. It's
Exactly.
good.
Yeah. It's good. It's very good. It's very good. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to do that, and I will say that also my conclusion. My conclusion, I summarize what I have done. Like I said, what I have done specific. Yes, and my project, my conclusion, yes, specifically speak about my project. I told specific to general, yeah. In this project, blah blah. In general, then I go in general Fourier transform and help and good method to use it with science, with physics, with blah 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 like this.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. At the same time, I feel like for this kind of dissertation, writing conclusion is not necessarily mandatory. So if you describe things well in the introduction, then there's not so much need for conclusions.
For me, yes, I don't. Yeah,
but
but
up to you. Up to
yeah,
you.
because really I need to get high score in this project. Really, that reason I'm trying to do the best in this work. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I understand him. Just I don't want to just I wanted to pass this. Yeah, because really I have a lot of information about your experience and you work hardly with me. That's the reason I think I should get A, not just A, no, high A, because really we work hardly together. That's the reason. Yeah, I try to be more punctual and recognize everything in my project. Yeah, I'm trying to do the best. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good. But what I meant is also that, what should I say? I guess it also depends on the template that kind of Simon emphasized.